Today, I'm giving you 7 common questions asked during an interview for an analyst in the federal government. Let's get to it. I have been through dozens of interviews throughout the Washington, D.C. area for a program analyst and for a management analyst, both in person and virtual interviews. And the same questions keep coming up, and I'm giving those to you today. All of these type of questions can easily be applied to almost any job in the 0300 job series. That whole family is filled with administrative and analytical job positions. Do not know what job you want to do in the government? Start with the 0300 series. A lot of these jobs share the same keywords. Question number 1, provide an example when you solved a problem by analyzing data. Now this question is pretty basic and you should be able to pull from an experience that you had at your last job or an experience that you had at your school when you solved a problem. Usually when we're solving problems, we analyze information and we choose the best course of action and we implement it. The word analyze comes down to how you examine, interpret, and explain information. This can come down to looking at a spreadsheet or a database, finding that there's missing information or incorrect information, and then formulating a plan in order to fix that. An example is our team sold 75% this quarter, or we trained at 75% this quarter, but the standard is 90%. So you implemented sales training or some sort of additional training in order for your team to now sell 90 or 95 or even 100% in the following quarter. That is an example where you're using numbers that you can quantify in order to display a story of success. And it would be a good way to answer this sort of question. Question number 2. What is your proficiency with Microsoft Excel? Now, you don't want to give a 1 or 2 word answer to this. You don't want to say, I have strong proficiency. My proficiency is good. I have average proficiency. You don't want to say anything like that. You want to give examples. You want to talk about manipulating columns and rows. Maybe the fact that you know how to utilize a pivot table. You could put graphs and charts into the Excel file. You want to demonstrate with your words your proficiency of using that program. And if you're not proficient at Excel, then there are plenty of free courses or free YouTube videos you can look at in order to start building your proficiency. Question number 3, give an example when you provided advice and guidance on program improvement. Okay, so anytime you were at work or maybe you were at school, you probably realized, you identified that something was messed up. Something was not performing at optimal efficiency. And you probably gave a recommendation or you told someone, even if it was your coworker or your friend, you told somebody that the plan was messed up or they didn't have enough resources in order to execute it properly. So when you're making suggestions on how to fix something or how to improve something, that is advise. You have advised someone. Here's an example. During our annual SOP review, I identified 3 outdated pieces of information. I advised our management on the necessary updates that were required. And as a result, our overall error percentage decreased by 20% in the next quarter. Once again, we're quantifying and showing how our actions benefited the organization. Question 4, describe a time that you increased efficiency or effectiveness of a task. A lot of analyzing data and numbers is looking for more effective and efficient ways to accomplish tasks. An example I had in the military, I was responsible for picking up individuals at the airport using 3 buses. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can use 3 buses and schedule them to arrive at the airport at different times and to adjust their configurations. All of that is utilizing analytical skills. You have examples of that in your past as well. You might not realize it, but you do. It wasn't really a complicated answer, but I had to have had it prepared. I had to have it in my memory bank in the back of my head, ready to give during the interview. And that's where rehearsals are so important. Question 5, in the program analyst role, you will be expected to lead through influence with peer groups. Describe an instance where you have led a peer team to overcome obstacles and to successfully complete a project. This question is designed to see how you interact with peers. You're not always going to be the leader. You're not always going to be a manager. Do you have influence? Do you have tact? Can you reach out and make compromises and be amicable and have agreements with people that are not like you, that might not even like you to begin with? There are some people that are abrasive and they feel like their way is the only way and everyone else just needs to get out of the way. That is not a team player. That is not somebody you want to be associated with. You should try to convey that you are a team player. You know how to use tact. You know how to build the team. Okay, question 6. Describe a time when you executed the analysis of both quantitative and qualitative facts across a broad spectrum of activity. All right, so the translation of this question is, when have you explained and examined numbers and facts? An example is that you reviewed a correspondence tracker and determined that maybe a couple of columns or rows were missing. And the way the documents were set up, it wasn't flowing correctly. It wasn't producing the right information. So you explained that to management. You added those columns, you added those rows, you made it a more accurate and effective document. And then you implemented a forcing mechanism. This could be a weekly meeting, or you're already having a weekly meeting, but you devote 2 to 3 minutes to talk about this new tracking process. That is a control mechanism. Question 7. Tell us about your experience directing and reviewing the work of teams to accomplish complex analysis and plans. Now, this is for a supervisor analyst position. So this is a leadership question. And not every position that you're going to apply for is a leadership position. In the DC area, these are usually GS-14s and GS-15s. But they want to see, how do you provide purpose, direction, and motivation? Have you been preparing yourself to be a leader? And if you're already a leader, have you been maintaining your proficiency level? This might be a good time to talk about how you develop others, how you review others' work and give them constructive criticism or feedback in order to improve operations. One of the most important aspects of leadership that you want to mention is communication. I'm a firm believer that you cannot over-communicate enough. One of the biggest breakdowns when it comes to a leader-supervisor relationship with a subordinate is a lack of communication. And this can be on both sides. All of these questions should be in the STAR format. Even if it's a yes or no question, you should find a way to pivot and give one of your success stories. This will set you apart from the other candidates that are being interviewed. And STAR is situation, task, action, and result. You should have at least a dozen or more of these type of success stories for each one of the keywords in the qualification section. Now, if you're not getting any interview requests just yet, the issue could be mistakes on your federal government resume. And if you want to learn about the 5 mistakes you should avoid in your federal government resume, then check out this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.